While the teacher is guiding the students through a serious meditation session, everyone is busy learning the absolute basics of their classes except for our main character, who just sits there grinning like an idiot. Seeing this, a few jealous classmates immediately complain to the instructor, claiming that since he awakened the absolutely useless Necromancer class, there is no way he can ever succeed in meditating. But get this, the moment our guy actually reveals his insane progress, the entire classroom goes dead silent, and even the teacher cannot believe his own eyes. Because even the absolute top geniuses need at least 2 whole weeks, and for a Necromancer, it should be even harder. Yet, it took him just one single class to reach the Sun Gate level. But of course, because he is super handsome and gets showered with love from the girls, one salty classmate absolutely loses his mind with jealousy. He can't stand seeing someone with such a garbage-tier class being surrounded by all the pretty girls. But the second he tries a cowardly sneak attack, our hero's undead clone senses it instantly, dodges, teleports behind him, and delivers a brutal slap. Refusing to learn his lesson, he charges at the main character again. But our guy simply throws a basic punch, sending the bully flying 100 meters until he completely passes out. See, everyone used to think the Necromancer was just a trash-tier combat class despite being a rare hidden job. To actually use its power, you need a deep connection with the undead. But since life and death are complete opposites, normal humans simply cannot understand the underworld. Luckily, our main character awakened a unique system that lets him experience the underworld, allowing him to send an undead clone directly into that dark world where he can hunt and devour other creatures to level up, while also summoning that same powerful clone into the real world. Right in the middle of the schoolyard, a massive magic circle suddenly glows, signaling that the long-awaited awakening day has finally arrived. Up on the stage, the combat instructor, Lu Hu, loudly announces that the class they awaken today will decide their entire future. He wishes everyone the best in getting their dream job, and right at that exact moment, our main character, Fang Zhou, steps up. After spending years transmigrating into this world, he has finally reached the one moment that can completely change his fate. Hearing his name called, Fang Zhou calmly steps out of the crowd and walks up to the platform with absolute confidence. The second he walks up there, he instantly becomes the center of attention. The girls cannot stop whispering, guessing that with his amazing aura, he will definitely awaken as a noble priest. After all, it would be a total waste if someone that handsome did not become a priest. Meanwhile, the boys just scoff, muttering that looks mean nothing and only their awakened class will show who is truly strong. While they argue, Lu Hu looks over his profile, noting that Fang Zhou is the child of a fallen hero. Although he was orphaned early on, his incredible physical stats and top-tier grades make even the strict instructor nod in genuine approval. No wonder he gets so much attention. Ignoring the staring crowd, Fang Zhou calmly places his hand on the stone. Suddenly, a blinding golden light explodes, launching a massive pillar of energy straight into the sky and shaking the entire academy grounds. Everyone is left completely stunned because this reaction is 10 times stronger than any awakening they have ever seen before. Everyone is convinced a legendary class is about to appear, but hold on, look at how the magic suddenly shifts. From the palm of his hand, a strange, dark green demonic energy suddenly begins to gush out. It quickly transforms into a black bolt of lightning, striking the ground and completely dyeing the entire area in shadows. Lu Hu's face instantly pales because even he has never seen a student trigger such an insane, world-shaking phenomenon right during their awakening. Within seconds, the sky gets blanketed by terrifying specters, death knights wielding massive scythes, and a giant skeleton king towering over an endless undead army. The entire area freezes over in a bone-chilling cold, but right in the center of this terrifying storm of dark energy, Fang Zhou just stands there completely unfazed, his face strangely calm as if every single thing is going exactly according to his plan. Finally, the glowing holographic status screen floats up for everyone to see. His class is revealed as a Necromancer. Looking at his glowing hands and the shadow with burning blue eyes standing behind him, he cannot wait to test out this eerie new power. Before he can even inspect it, mocking laughter starts echoing across the schoolyard. A blonde bully steps forward, laughing loudly, mocking him for causing such a massive scene only to end up as a trash-tier Necromancer. Sure, it is a rare class, but it is also famous for being the absolute weakest combat job because unlocking its true potential is practically impossible. The other guys quickly chime in, sneering that having perfect grades is completely useless when you end up with such a trash job. Hearing their insults, Fang Zhou remains dead silent. He knows the ultimate bottleneck of a Necromancer is establishing a real connection with the underworld. For your average person, Connecting with the world of the dead is almost completely impossible, which is why most necromancers never reach their full potential. But just because others cannot do it does not mean Fang Zhou is helpless. Right then, his status screen flashes before his eyes, revealing his base stats and his starting class as a low-tier apprentice necromancer. But wait, a sudden, glowing green notification pops up out of nowhere. Congratulations to the host on awakening the Netherworld Experience System. Seeing this, a massive grin spreads across his face because honestly, after 18 long years of waiting, his ultimate cheat code is finally online. The system explains that it has already connected him to the Netherworld, creating a special skeleton clone linked exclusively to him. Through this clone, he can dive straight into the land of the dead to hunt, absorb undead monsters, and level up. He will grow stronger by the day, and eventually, he can even summon this very clone back to reality to fight beside him. Of course, the system also warns him that exploring this shadowy realm is packed with countless unknown dangers. Hearing this, he does not flinch at all. In fact, he gets even more fired up. This is the perfect power-up to turn a mocked class like Necromancer into the most terrifying force in the world. Without wasting a single second, he taps the screen to trigger the summon. Instantly, a skeletal figure materializes in front of him, catching even him off guard as the system confirms this is his official clone from the Netherworld. It also explains that before summoning it directly into the real world, he can transfer his consciousness directly into the skeleton's body to personally explore that mysterious netherworld, opening a legendary path of cultivation that no other necromancer has ever achieved. But the system is not done showing off notifications. Not only can he hunt and devour other undead beasts to permanently boost his own stats, but the clone also allows him to summon any defeated undead creatures back to the real world to fight for him, making his eyes light up instantly. Just think about it, if he defeats enough monsters, he is going to command a massive, unstoppable army of the dead. Looking out over the vast, dead wasteland in front of him, a confident smirk plays on his lips, declaring that sooner or later, this entire netherworld will become his personal hunting ground. But first, he puts his exploration plans on hold, deciding to test summon the clone into the real world. The system immediately responds, activating the summoning magic. The magic circle glows, and a giant skeleton draped in a dark robe slowly steps out of the light, radiating pure majesty. Staring at the massive clone standing tall beside him, he cannot help but feel incredibly satisfied. This giant is definitely going to be his ultimate trump card for now. Right then, the instructor, Lu Hu, calls up the next student while sighing in deep regret, thinking it is such a shame a talented kid like Fang Zhou pulled a trash-tier class. But ignoring all the gossip, several girls run over to cheer him up and tell him not to lose heart. One of them even insists that even as a necromancer, she knows he can still reach the legendary mythic crown. Another girl stares at his summoned skeleton in awe, continuously gushing about how cool it looks, which completely infuriates the blonde guy watching them from afar. He simply cannot understand why a loser with a trash class still gets surrounded by pretty girls. In his eyes, a single weak skeleton is absolutely nothing compared to his own deadly assassin class. Filled with jealousy, he decides to destroy the clone right here, remembering that low-level necromancers can only maintain a tiny number of summons. If he can destroy this one, it will definitely deal a massive blow to his growth speed. Acting on his plan, the blonde guy slips into the shadows, draws his weapon, and triggers a silent arrow technique to fire a tiny, wind-cutting bolt right at the summon. But before he can even celebrate, his eyes widen in pure shock. The massive skeleton vanishes into thin air. Before he can react, a pale skull and glowing blue eyes materialize right in front of his face. Cold sweat pours down his neck, but it is already too late. A heavy skeletal hand slaps him across the face, sending blood flying, before a spiked staff slams directly onto his head. With just 2 simple strikes, the sneaky attacker is slammed face first into the dirt, left bleeding all over the grass. Shaking all over, he struggles to stand, eyes wide with disbelief, as Fang Zhou casually strolls over. Clutching his swollen cheek, the blonde coward scrambles backward in absolute panic, with only one terrifying thought running through his mind. This thing is fast enough to dodge a blindside sneak attack, but he desperately tries to calm himself down. Even if the summon is a beast, the summoner himself must be fragile, just like any other pathetic necromancer. Clinging to that hope, he leaps up and charges straight at Fang Zhou, aiming to take him down first. Too bad for him, Fang Zhou does not even flinch. With just one hand, he grabs the guy by the wrist and squeezes so hard the bully screams in pure agony. Staring down at his attacker with absolute disgust, Fang Zhou quietly tells him to know his place. Instantly, he channels lightning magic straight into his fist and unleashes a devastating punch. The impact is massive, sending the blonde bully flying dozens of meters back, plowing face first into the grass and leaving a long trail of blood before passing out cold. Talk about instant karma. The whole schoolyard goes completely silent, seeing this loudmouth bully get folded in a single second. Fang Zhou does not even bother looking back. He calmly turns around and walks away with his skeleton clone, leaving the shocked students whispering behind him. Some are gossiping about how the blonde guy tried to sneak attack Fang Zhou but got knocked out cold with one punch. Others are just completely baffled by how a necromancer, supposedly the weakest class of all, could possess such crazy physical power. While his friends drag him up, the blonde bully glares at Fang Zhou with pure hatred and spits out a bitter threat, telling him to just wait. But Fang Zhou does not even care. Slipping away to a quiet corner on campus, he makes sure there are no nosy onlookers around before summoning his system interface. The magical screen pops up in front of him. This time, Fang Zhou decides it is officially time to enter the undead realm for his very first trial. Right on cue, the system asks if he is ready to begin his exploration of this mysterious undead world. Instead of rushing in, Fang Zhou pauses to weigh his options carefully. If he wants to become a true necromancer, diving into this underworld is a path he simply cannot skip. It will help him understand this terrifying world, and with a bit of luck, he can hunt and absorb undead creatures to boost his power, but higher rewards mean far greater risks. Out there, he might not be the apex hunter anymore. He could easily end up as prey for much nastier monsters. After a long moment, Fang Zhou decides to take the gamble. He has waited 18 years for this system, and there is no way he is backing down from getting stronger. The second he confirms his choice, the system responds immediately, and here we go, a massive magic circle flares up under his feet as a red danger warning flashes on screen. In a flash, his surroundings warp completely. Fang Zhou finds himself standing in a desolate graveyard world, surrounded by pools of blood-red water, mountains of decaying bones, crumbling tombstones, and eerie black crows perched silently over the forgotten graves. His consciousness has now fully merged with his skeleton clone, kneeling on the cold earth before slowly standing up to look around. Looking down at his new pale bone body, Fang Zhou is pretty amazed. This is exactly the same skeleton he just summoned back in the real world. At the same time, the clone's status panel appears showing he is just a low-tier apprentice, with totally basic stats and absolutely zero equipment. But what really catches his eye is a unique innate skill called bone armament, which lets him use raw bones to enhance his stats and forge weapons. Fang Zhou instantly realizes this is the clone's secret weapon. To stay safe, he decides to look around for raw materials to craft a weapon before picking any fights. Yet life is never that simple, and he barely takes a few steps forward, before a wave of terrifying killing intent hits him from behind. Fang Zhou whips his head around just as a massive, two-headed wolf lunges out of the shadows, fangs bared. He rolls to the side, dodging the deadly bite by a hair. But the moment he finds his footing, the beast charges again, locking its powerful jaws right onto the skeleton's arm before he can even react. To make matters worse, his other leg gets pinned down too. Oh man, this is bad. Yet, he doesn't panic. He immediately swings his free arm to fight back. Suddenly, a tiny little skeleton pops out of nowhere to help him attack, prompting Fang Zhou to joke that this is a sweet buy one get one free deal. Too bad their combined attacks barely tickle the beast. The two-headed wolf just roars and continues its relentless, bloodthirsty chase. Fang Zhou retreats constantly, quickly realizing that controlling a clunky skeleton body is way harder than he ever anticipated. If he keeps fighting like this, he is going to end up dead. Just when things look hopeless, his eyes lock onto a pile of dry bones nearby. Without wasting a single second, Fang Zhou immediately triggers his bone armament skill. Dozens of bone shards fly into the air, instantly morphing into a massive scythe in his hands. Armed and ready, Fang Zhou spins around and slashes with all his might. The razor-sharp blade tears through the wolf's chest, sending it howling in agony. But the stubborn beast refuses to go down, lunging at him again in a blind rage. Fang Zhou quickly jams a thick bone right between its jaws, locking its bite in place for a brief moment and giving himself some crucial breathing room. At that exact moment in the real world, Fang Zhou suddenly clutches his chest and coughs up blood. He realizes instantly that any injury his clone takes is directly transferred back to his real body. This trial is way more dangerous than he originally bargained for. Back in the undead realm, the massive two-headed wolf finally collapses lifelessly at his feet. Not wanting to waste this golden opportunity, He plunges his skeletal hand deep into the monster's corpse to absorb its raw power. He treats the enemy's death as pure nourishment for his own growth. Then, swinging his massive scythe, Fang Zhou triggers bone armament to completely finish the beast. It crumbles completely. A chilling blue soul orb slowly drifts up from the lifeless remains. Standing quietly in this wasteland of white bones and death energy, Fang Zhou grips his giant scythe, claiming his very first prize on his journey to becoming the absolute lord of the undead world. Right after that epic win, his skeleton clone drops to one knee, panting heavily from using way too much energy. Even so, staring at the scythe in his hand, Fang Zhou cannot hide his absolute satisfaction. This bone armament skill is way more effective than he imagined a truly godly gift from the system. Just then, a floating blue soul flame drifts right in front of him, catching his attention. He is pretty curious about what this thing actually is, but as the flame gets closer, an intense, primal hunger suddenly surges deep inside him. Unable to resist, the skeleton quickly grabs the flame and swallows it straight into his chest. In an instant, a warm rush of energy spreads throughout his whole body. Next, the system alerts him that his stats have increased, giving his strength a 0.1 boost, which completely shocks him. Right after, the system notifies him that he has also gained 0.1 soul power. Since the name sounds pretty strange, Fang Zhou wonders what it does, and the system quickly gives him an answer. This energy can be used to evolve skills, boost his potential, upgrade gear, and unlock tons of other cool functions. Look at his eyes light up. He is already cooking up a dead simple but completely genius plan. Hunt, absorb, repeat. Just like that, his power will constantly keep rising without any limits. With a confident smirk, he realizes this undead world is about to become his ultimate leveling ground. Before he can even go far, the system detects a new target. Slowly walking toward him is a sword-wielding skeleton. The system immediately starts analyzing the monster, showing it is just an apprentice-level undead with a weak body, 0 intelligence, and a single weak point inside its soul flame. Armed with this info, Fang Zhou does not hold back and immediately triggers his bone armament, shaping his bones into a deadly spear to charge straight into the fight. Skeletons drop left and right, and the system keeps spamming those sweet stat boost notifications. Sometimes it is agility plus 0.1, other times stamina, strength, or even more precious soul power. The more he fights, the stronger he gets. That constant flow of soul energy has him feeling almost addicted to the rush. A massive sweep. His stat panel now looks completely different, with strength up by 3, agility, stamina, and spirit up by 2, plus 10 whole points of soul power stacked up. But you know him, this is nowhere near enough to satisfy our boy, as he feels he can climb much higher. Just as he is about to hunt more, the scenery suddenly warps, and his consciousness is snapped back into his real body at Haicheng Military Academy. Still shut. Even back in reality, his eyes remain closed as he mutters that he can grow stronger. Suddenly, a sweet female voice rings out, cutting straight through his deep thoughts. Startled, he snaps his eyes open to find Bai Xiaochan standing right in front of him. Before he can even ask when she arrived, she starts lecturing him out of worry, thinking he tried to end it all just because his class awakening was weak. Hearing this, he just stands there frozen. It turns out that while his mind was in the undead world, the damage feedback caused his real hand to bleed, triggering this massive misunderstanding. Quickly hiding his bleeding hand behind his back, he offers a forced smile, claiming it was just an accidental scratch from a tree branch. She doubts it. Bai Xiaochan remains pretty skeptical, making the air feel pretty awkward, so she changes the subject, urging him to return to class since meditation practice is starting, which he immediately accepts. A few steps, then he suddenly clutches his chest, coughing violently and spitting out blood right before her eyes. Panicking, she rushes over to support him and insists on taking him straight to the school clinic. He tries to force another smile, repeating that he is totally fine, but deep down, he knows exactly what is wrong. Grinding for so long in that undead world has pushed his real body past its limits, causing a severe backlash. Right on cue, a system alert warns him that his daily limit has exceeded the safety threshold, meaning he must bear any future consequences alone. Instead of feeling afraid, a spark of curiosity mixed with pure excitement flashes deep in his eyes. He knows he has stumbled upon a way to get stronger faster than anyone else, and checking his real body's stat panel makes him ecstatic. Everything his skeleton clone achieved is actually synchronizing back into his real physical form. His strength is up by 1.2, while stamina, agility, and spirit all increased by 1.1. Best of all, a brand new skeleton summon skill has appeared, along with a special feature called Skill Evolution. While Bai Xiaochan is still frantically pulling his arm and asking if he needs to go to the infirmary, Fang Zhou is completely lost in joy, staring intensely at the plus sign on his system interface. A crazy, bold thought suddenly flashes through his mind. What if? Could he actually create his own skills like those top-tier powerhouses in the future? Just picturing that incredible reality is more than enough to get Fang Zhou absolutely hyped. And just like that, the legendary journey of our Necromancer has officially begun. Soon after, the entire class steps into their very first meditation lesson. Standing at the podium is their teacher, Shen Hongyu, a powerful fire mage with low-tier silver rank strength. After introducing herself, she instructs all the students to use their class-specific meditation methods to sense and guide their own inner power. She explains that meditation is the most important foundation to boost mental strength and is absolutely necessary for using any skill in the future. Seeing that the class is still quite tense, Shen Hongyu smiles to encourage them. She also bragged that even a true genius like herself took half a month just to complete the basic entry step. But right at that moment, a totally different notification pops up on his system, detecting that the bone meditation method can be learned. He can directly master the basics through deduction, and without wasting a single second, our main character immediately clicks agree. Instantly, countless blue magic runes flood his mind, while soul energy rapidly connects his real body with his skeleton clone inside the dangerous underworld. In a flash, it is done. The bone meditation method has been learned successfully. Fang Zhou cannot help but laugh. While others need half a month to learn the basics, he finished it with just one simple click. What surprises him even more is that when he is not controlling it, his skeleton clone will automatically meditate and cultivate. This means his real self can study in school, while his clone is silently grinding levels in the underworld. It is continuous training, absolute madness. This is the ultimate, overpowered feature of his entire system. Before he can even celebrate, the system alerts him that his mental energy is fully recovered. Now, are you ready to jump back into the underworld with him? He realizes that each experience consumes his precious mental energy, so both his real body and his skeleton clone must keep growing stronger to sustain this insane growth rate. Not wanting to waste a single minute, he closes his eyes and starts the next underworld dive. The moment his consciousness shifts to his clone, Fang Zhou slides right back into his familiar hunting routine, throwing bone spears that pierce straight through the oncoming undead. While his system keeps flashing alerts of stat points and soul power after every victory, the more he fights, the more he feels himself getting stronger step by step. After grinding for a while, a surprise notification suddenly pops up on his screen. The mastery of his clone skill has reached the limit and can now be used as a material to deduce a new skill, costing 10 soul power points. He quickly figures out that skill creation has to be done right here in the underworld. Without any hesitation, he spends all of his newly accumulated points and starts the deduction. The progress bar quickly fills up, and just seconds later, the system declares success. A new skill called Skeletal Javelin is born. This skill allows him to condense sharp spears of bone and hurl them, dealing armor-piercing, physical damage laced with the dark power of death. The raw power, quantity, and range of these bone spears will scale directly with his mental strength and skill mastery. Fang Zhou is beyond thrilled because this skill matches his current weapon perfectly. Even more surprising is that right behind this skeletal javelin, a whole branching path of potential skills suddenly appears, like Bone Shield, Skeletal Giant Claw, or Bone Prison. Staring at the massive skill tree before him, he knows this is only the beginning. To unlock everything, he is going to need to farm way more soul power points. With that in mind, he shoulders his bone spear and heads deeper into the Deathlands. Just then, a pack of spectral hounds blocks his path, making his lips curl into a smirk. His eyes flare with excitement. Since some test subjects just delivered themselves to his door, he might as well use them to test the raw power of his new skill. Just watch this. Giant bone javelins tear through the air from above, slamming straight into the pack of hounds and triggering a massive explosion that sends white bone fragments flying everywhere. Once the skeletal javelin is activated, bone spears engulfed in eerie green soul fire tear through the wind with blinding speed, easily piercing clean through every undead in front of him. After just one devastating attack wave, the entire ground is covered in shattered bones. Staring at his handiwork, Fang Zhou nods his head in satisfaction. Compared to common apprentice spells like Death Missile or Weakening Ray, the raw destruction of his skeletal javelin is on a whole different level. However, that brief moment of joy is instantly ruined when the system starts flashing those all too familiar alerts. Each defeated undead now only grants 0.05 stat points and 0.05 soul power, literally cut in half. Watching his attribute screen crawl up bit by bit, Fang Zhou immediately realizes that the system won't let him grind levels forever. Hunting too many same-level creatures triggers diminishing returns, forcing players to push deep into much more dangerous territory. Waste anything? Not a chance. Fang Zhou is determined to sweep this place absolutely clean. As long as those low-tier undead keep giving experience points, he will squeeze out every single drop before moving deeper. Just then, Fang Zhou's consciousness snaps back to the classroom. While everyone else is seriously meditating, he cannot help but grin from his intense grinding session, which instantly catches Shen Hongyu's eye. Folding her arms, she glares down at the class and calls out Fang Zhou, asking why everyone else is meditating while he is just sitting there smiling to himself. Before he can even explain, that annoying blonde kid jumps up to snitch. He claims that Fang Zhou cannot even enter a basic meditative state because his chosen profession is just too weak. Another student chimes in wondering if a rare class should actually give him a pretty huge advantage instead. But the blonde kid just scoffs, explaining that the Necromancer class is a total exception. Its meditation method is incredibly incomplete with almost nobody succeeding, so it is quite natural for Fang Zhou to fail. Listening to the classroom gossip, Shen Hongyu can only sigh. She sternly warns Fang Zhou that a difficult class does not mean he can just quit, especially when he is disrupting everyone else. With that, she holds up the blonde kid as a prime example. In just a single class, he has already managed to manifest a blade hilt through meditation. Praised by the teacher in public, the blonde kid acts humble, claiming he has only grasped 1/3 of the technique. He says that speed is just average genius level, but his smug eyes keep darting over to Fang Zhou, clearly trying to gloat about his easy victory. Watch how he plays this. Fang Zhou just chuckles softly, casually saying that speed is actually pretty normal. The entire class instantly freezes. The blonde kid stares wide-eyed, completely shocked that Fang Zhou still dares to talk so big. Nearby students mock him instantly, muttering that if he cannot even meditate properly, he has absolutely no right to judge anyone else. He wastes no time explaining. Instead, he quietly circulates his inner power, and suddenly, a wave of dark necromantic energy surges out, forcing everyone to recoil in shock. Shen Hongyu frowns deeply. She barks out demanding Fang Zhou suppress his aura immediately and reminding him that this is meditation class, not combat practice. Fang Zhou calmly replies that he is not trying to cause trouble, he just wants everyone to step back so the teacher can clearly see his results. The room erupts. No one believes that Fang Zhou could actually master the basics after just one single lesson. Trying to keep his cool, the blonde kid sneers, claiming the boy has probably only barely scratched the surface at best. Facing down their doubts, Fang Zhou slowly closes his eyes and officially activates his skeletal meditation technique. Just look at this. Dark energy explodes violently like a black hurricane tearing straight through the classroom. Behind him, a massive skeletal phantom gradually materializes, releasing a crushing pressure that paralyzes everyone. The blonde kid and his crew turn pale as ghosts, while Shen Hongyu actually gasps out loud in utter shock. Mastered in just one class session, this crazy growth speed completely eclipses every single genius she has ever run into. Look at all their terrified faces. Fang Zhou just smiles and says calmly, "It seems my speed is only slightly faster than your average genius." Just as they are struggling to process this shock, the door swings open. Lu Hu walks in, nods in approval, and announces that their live combat exam starts tomorrow. While the students groan because they have barely trained, the blonde kid just smiles coldly to himself. He might have lost the meditation round, but tomorrow, he will absolutely make Fang Zhou pay during real combat. Meanwhile, Fang Zhou's consciousness slips right back into the undead realm. Now that he has unlocked the skeletal meditation method, his active time in this desolate place has increased quite a bit. Refusing to waste even a single second, Fang Zhou tightly grips his bone spear and dives straight back into the hunt. Countless undead drop one after another under his relentless strikes, dark mist completely blanketing the battlefield. By now, Fang Zhou has only one clear goal left. He must use every remaining minute to harvest as many of these monsters as possible, building up enough strength before the big combat exam tomorrow. After a wild, relentless sweep across the battlefield, Fang Zhou still has absolutely no plans to stop. Swinging his heavy bone spear, he hacks down enemy after enemy, with only one repetitive thought driving him forward: he can still kill more. Only when the soul fire in his eye sockets begins to flicker wildly and his physical avatar grows heavy is he forced to stop. The skeleton drops to one knee, panting heavily as his mental energy is almost fully drained. Looking over the bone-strewn battlefield, Fang Zhou finally nods in satisfaction. He really pushed himself to the absolute limit today. Right at that moment, the system pops up a sudden notification that instantly snaps him awake. The host's class level has increased, meaning his skeleton summon is getting a massive upgrade as well. All that grinding, it is finally paying off in the best way. Without hesitating for even a second, Fang Zhou immediately hits upgrade. In an instant, a massive pillar of green light erupts, completely enveloping his skeleton avatar's body. Armor repairs itself. The cracks automatically close right up. Dark red veins slowly carve onto every single bone, while the soul flames in its eyes burn much more violently than before, radiating a freezing, absolutely terrifying aura of pure dread. As the glowing light fades, a brand new status screen pops up. The avatar officially reaches mid-tier apprentice, boosting his strength by 5 points. His constitution, agility, and spirit all hit 3 points, while he keeps 10 soul power points along with that bone spear in his grip. Plus, the system automatically rewards him with a brand new skill called Brutal Strike. Read that again. Even Fang Zhou cannot hide his pure excitement. This skill unleashes all of his strength into a single devastating blow, with its power scaling based on the user's strength, stat, and mastery level. This basically means his monster hunting speed is about to skyrocket, making Fang Zhou laugh to himself as he realizes the potential. With this skill, conquering the entire underworld is just a matter of time. But before he can even celebrate, a sudden blinding headache hits him and his vision starts spinning. The soul flames in his eyes flicker wildly as if they're about to die out, and his whole body loses balance, collapsing onto his knees. Only now does Fang Zhou realize that he was so focused on studying the new skill that he completely forgot his mental power ran bone dry. Forced out instantly, his consciousness is thrown right back into his real-world body. Waking up, a sharp pain shoots through his head, making him wince. He can only laugh bitterly. His current mental power is still way too low to maintain that form for very long. Right then, Bai Xiaochan happens to walk by. Seeing Fang Zhou sitting on the ground looking completely pale, she rushes over to check on him. He just forces a smile, claiming he overexerted, but silently makes a firm decision. From now on, whenever he enters the underworld, he has to find a hidden spot. The secret of his system cannot fall into anyone's hands. Too bad he doesn't even get a chance to stand up before the blonde punk and his lackeys show up, instantly spotting his exhausted look. They mock him instantly, laughing that a trash class is always useless, only meditating for a few days, and he is already too weak to stand. Hearing this, Bai Xiaochan steps in to shield Fang Zhou, demanding to know why they are constantly looking to pick fights. He gets even cockier, no shame at all. He points right at Fang Zhou's face, bragging that he just learned a class skill and is on a whole different level now, claiming that if he wanted to, he could easily defeat him with a single move. The tension spikes, but just as they are about to clash, Instructor Lu Hu's booming voice echoes out, shutting everyone up instantly. He sternly reminds them that the school teaches combat skills to fight actual monsters, not to go around bullying classmates. Head down, the blonde punk apologizes quickly, not daring to say another word. Then, Lu Hu turns to look at Fang Zhou with high expectations shining in his eyes. He mentions he saw the kid's impressive performance during the meditation class, hoping he will keep up that same top-tier energy in the upcoming real combat test. Fang Zhou nods, accepting the challenge. Secretly, he is dying to test his limits and see exactly how strong he has actually gotten. Gathering time, all the students assemble out on the sports field. On Lu Hu's orders, a few students roll a rusty, worn-out metal puppet into the center of the field. Looking at its beat-up appearance, many students instantly feel skeptical. Lu Hu smiles and explains that this is an apprentice-level testing puppet, designed specifically to measure their physical power and combat potential. He points to the status panel on the puppet's chest, explaining that its defense is set as a benchmark at 100 points, easily tanking direct hits from apprentice-rank monsters without taking a single scratch. One curious student asks what would happen if they accidentally end up breaking the machine. Hearing that, Lu Hu laughs out loud, claiming that in the entire history of this school, no freshman has ever destroyed it. Then, he suddenly announces that if anyone can rip off the puppet's head using nothing but pure physical strength today, they will instantly win 20 Alliance contribution points. Absolute madness. The whole crowd goes wild, and even the hesitant students are suddenly desperate to try. After all, 20 contribution points is a massive reward, enough to make everyone decide to go all out on this test. Hearing about those 20 points, you just know Fang Zhou's eyes lit up instantly. In this world, contribution points are just like cold hard cash. You need them to buy gear, resources, or skill books, making this reward enough to make anyone greedy. Within seconds, the crowd is shoving and raising their hands to go first, everyone wanting to test their luck. Lu Hu immediately barks at everyone to line up, calling the common class users to step forward first. First up is a fire mage. Overflowing with confidence, he conjures a blazing fireball and launches it straight at the dummy with massive hype. But only 48 points flash. Shocked, he is completely frozen in place. He cannot believe his eyes because he gave it his absolute all. Next up, a swordsman unleashes a devastating critical strike with all his might, but only scores 41 points. The third challenger, an archer, fires off a petrifying arrow to score a slightly better 50 points. And honestly, you can feel the collective dread in the air as they realize hitting 100 points is insanely hard. Seeing his students with completely defeated faces, Lu Hu finally wraps up the basic class testing. Now, it is finally time for the special and hidden classes. The crowd below can only force a bitter laugh. No wonder Lu Hu offered a 20-point contribution reward because almost nobody stands a real chance of getting it. While they gossip, Fang Zhou quietly calculates, planning his play. Since his real power lies with his summon army, he needs to know one crucial detail: does this puppet actually calculate total accumulated damage from multiple separate hits? Right then, the annoying blonde kid struts over to mock him, laughing that the look on his face means he is terrified and bound to rank dead last. With that, he swaggered onto the field with pure confidence. After unlocking his new class skills, he honestly believes he has left Fang Zhou in the dust. Drawing his daggers, he unleashes a lightning-fast slash against the test puppet, sending the screen directly to 80 points. Spotting that high score, the blonde guy smirks arrogantly, bragging to everyone that this is the true raw power of his rare hidden phantom assassin class. But before he can even celebrate, another student snickers, coldly reminding him that he is definitely not the only person in this class with a hidden profession. Lu Hu steps up and calls Ye Fan. That name. The entire room instantly erupts in whispers. Everyone knows Ye Fan awakened the hidden Devil Hunter class so strong that the Academy actually set up a special research group just for his insane potential. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Ye Fan steps forward. Behind him, the massive ghostly shadow of a soul-reaping Grim Reaper wielding a giant scythe begins to manifest. Instantly leaping into the air, he delivers a heavy vengeance strike. His very first impact registered a decent 65 points, leaving several classmates surprised that his score is not as high as expected. But Ye Fan just smirks, turns out. His ability is a multi-hit combo, and right after that opening strike, a flurry of rapid slashes immediately follow. The screen climbs from 69 to 88, stopping exactly at 100 points. Now watch this, the entire field goes dead silent. Lu Hu nods in satisfaction, announcing that Ye Fan reaches 100 points for attack power. As the crowd gasps in shock, Fang Zhou quietly smiles because he finally got the exact answer he needed. Turns out, the puppet actually accumulates total damage across a series of hits. With his massive summon army and their rapid assault capabilities, crushing this exam is going to be incredibly easy. Ye Fan calmly walks back down amidst the amazed whispers of the class. Meanwhile, our salty blonde friend sneers, muttering that Ye Fan only won because of a multi-hit skill. Bragging that he would have easily landed more hits if he knew, he is immediately shut down by a gray-haired classmate who notes his class has 0 combo skills. Ignoring their petty bickering, Lu Hu calls Bai Xiaochan to step up next. Taking a deep breath, she tells herself that as a hidden class user, she cannot embarrass herself. But after sending a swirling leaf tempest crashing into the target, the scoreboard displays a measly 31. Hearing her low score, Bai Xiaochan freezes, silently crying because support classes have such terrible combat power. Naturally, the blonde kid laughs, mocking her for acting so tough earlier only to deliver such a weak strike. Lu Hu calmly continues the trials, calling Gu Jichu, a storm mage, to the field. Firing off a barrage of sharp wind blades, he scores 72 points, right before Zhao Yuan uses his shield charge to smash the target and bring home 69 points. Finally, the massive, muscular, heavy hammer warrior named Chen Yang steps forward. Swinging his giant weapon, he executes a heavy hammer strike right on the dummy. He scores a massive 84 points to pump the stadium crowd up even more. Hearing Lu Hu promise 20 contribution points as a reward, Fang Zhou's eyes instantly light up. In this world, contribution points are the exact same as cold hard cash. Whether he needs high-tier gear, skill books, or raw cultivation resources, everything costs points, so he cannot let this slip. Meanwhile, The students watching from below start whispering and gossiping all over again. The strongest elites have already taken their turns, yet nobody can crack that 100 limit, let alone smash the test dummy to claim the main reward. Some complain that the prize is simply impossible to get, but right then, another student suddenly remembers there is still one last person left to test. Everyone instantly turns their heads to stare directly at our main character, Fang Zhou. Everyone in class knows he awakened a pretty rare hidden class, but it's just a weak necromancer. When they mention Fang Zhou, the blonde guy instantly bursts out laughing. He sneers, are they seriously putting their hopes on a necromancer, literally the weakest combat class ever? The bully mocks that the kid won't even score 10 attack points on stage. His lackeys laugh along, joking that Fang Zhou's summoned skeletons probably can't even stand up against the test puppet. But watch this. Fang Zhou calmly asks him back, so are you quite sure I can't even get those 20 contribution points? The blonde bully puts his hands on his hips and loudly boasts. If Fang Zhou actually manages to damage the puppet, he promises to swallow its metal head right on the spot. Fang Zhou just smirks, stepping onto the stage while telling the guy to remember those exact words. Standing in the center, instead of attacking, Fang Zhou politely asks everyone to step back. The blonde bully thinks he's just stalling to avoid embarrassment and keeps mocking him, but Fang Zhou simply shakes his head, replying that he's just worried his next skill will take up way too much space. As soon as he speaks, a massive dark energy suddenly explodes. Spectral black chains erupt from the ground, completely wrapping around Fang Zhou's body. Right after that, skeletons with burning green eyes begin walking out one by one from the dark mist behind him. The entire stadium goes dead silent. Every student stares in sheer shock, because this isn't just 2 or 3 weak skeletons like the rumors said. It's a whole line of 10 fully summoned skeletons standing right behind him. Some kids are literally stammering in pure terror, while others rub their eyes, completely unable to believe their sight. From what they know, a novice necromancer can only summon 2 skeletons at the absolute most. Even the greatest genius in history, Su Xinyan, could only summon 5. The examiner Lu Hu gulps hard, with only one crazy thought running through his mind. Could Fang Zhou's raw talent actually surpass Su Xinyan? Meanwhile, the young man just secretly smiles. Honestly, he's still deliberately hiding his true power to avoid causing a total panic. Without saying another word, he simply gives a slight nod. Instantly, the 10 skeletons dash straight toward the puppet at terrifying speed. The blonde bully feels a cold shiver down his spine. The speed of these summons is completely beyond his imagination. In a flash, they surround the puppet and unleash a heavy barrage of punches. The score on the screen rapidly climbs from 30 to 45, then 60, finally stopping at 65 points. Seeing that result, the students let out a sigh of relief. Some argue that summoning so many skeletons just to get 65 points is pretty underwhelming. The blonde bully laughs even louder, mocking that each skeleton barely averages 10 attack points. But Fang Zhou just stands there calmly, a faint smirk playing on his lips. He coolly mutters, "Don't laugh yet. The real show is just starting." And check this out, because right then, his dark magic explodes with even greater intensity. Under the terrified gazes of the entire school, dozens of additional skeletons walk out from the dark fog. In seconds, the army swells to over 20 summons, and the whole arena completely loses its mind. Nobody can believe he was hiding such a massive card. Even Bai Xiaochan is cheering for him in pure excitement. Without any hesitation, the entire skeletal army charges forward for an all-out strike. A giant lead skeleton lands a brutal punch, sending the score shooting up to 97. The puppet immediately starts flashing warning signs. Then, a relentless storm of attacks rains down. The counter instantly blows past 100, hitting 108 points. And it doesn't stop there. The puppet suddenly explodes, its shattered body flying into the air before the stunned crowd. When the display crashes down, the glowing red numbers lock at exactly 999, totally maxing out the machine. The campus completely erupts. People are literally grabbing their heads in disbelief, screaming that Fang Zhou is an absolute monster. The blonde bully's knees go weak, his face completely pale. He stares at the 999 rating with a blank mind, unable to accept this reality. Meanwhile, Fang Zhou casually walks over to the pile of scrap metal. He bends down, picks up the puppet's broken head, and slowly approaches the blonde bully. With a calm smile, he shoves the heavy metal head right against the guy's chest, telling him it's time to keep his promise and start chewing. Hearing this, the bully just trembles, taking several steps back with all his previous arrogance completely flushed down the drain. Fang Zhou's gaze suddenly turns freezing cold, and his surging dark aura completely paralyzes the terrified bully on the spot. He simply drops a chilling warning from now on. You'd better stay far away from my sight. The loudmouth scrambles and runs for his life, though he still yells back a pathetic threat that he'll make Fang Zhou pay next time before vanishing. With the annoyance gone, Bai Xiaochan rushes over, her eyes sparkling with pure admiration. She keeps asking him how on earth he trained to summon such a massive, terrifying skeletal army so soon after his awakening. Fang Zhou just scratches his head with a sheepish grin, saying he basically just meditates and trains normally like everyone else. Right then, Lu Hu walks over, clapping his hands in praise. Unable to hide his satisfaction, he admits that Fang Zhou really opened his eyes today. The kid stays humble, but Lu Hu suddenly slaps his shoulder, promising to fight for him to get a spot on the school's elite seed cultivation list. Next, we cut straight to the principal's office. Inside the luxury room, a white-haired elder listens as his secretary reports the awakening results of all new students. Out of 10,000 students, 9,103 succeeded, while 897 failed, making it a 91% success rate with only 85 rare classes. Standing out are Earth Knight Zhao Yuan, Hymn of Strings Bai, Xiao Chan, Tempest Mage Kochi Thu, and Demon Hunter Ye Fan. Nodding as he strokes his beard, the principal decides these 85 should go straight to the top 100 priority list. But check this out, as his eyes land on Fang Zhou's file, the old man frowns. Seeing the Necromancer class, he just sighs and prepares to cross the kid's name right off the list. Decades of experience tell him this class has almost no real-world future. Right then, a sudden knock sounds at the door. Lu Hu rushes inside with a tense expression, catching his breath while announcing he has an urgent report to make. Without waiting for a question, he storms over to the desk, digs through the papers, and grabs Fang Zhou's file. Slamming the document down, Lu Hu flat out demands that the young man be added to the school's elite seed list. The principal shakes his head immediately, arguing that while a necromancer's potential is massive, turning it into real strength is just too hard. Lu Hu counters by mentioning Su Xinyan, the famous combat necromancer who stands equal to any top-tier mage of other elements. But the principal points out that Su Xinyan only rose that high because her legendary father poured endless resources into her. Meanwhile, Fang Zhou is just an orphan. Where would he ever get the backing to copy that same path? He adds that he knows Lu Hu fought alongside the kid's parents and fully respects them as great heroes of the Federation. Still, elite spots cannot be handed out on emotion alone when massive cultivation resources are on the line. These chosen few must carry heavy duties. Unshaken, Lu Hu presents the detailed report of Fang Zhou's performance during today's meditation and combat trials. The principal casually glances at it first, but he instantly freezes, reading that it took Fang Zhou only a single class to master the bone meditation technique. What is more, he summoned over 20 skeletons in his very first practical combat test. Seeing the shock, Lu Hu declares that with such monstrous talent, Fang Zhou might just be the one to rewrite the history of the entire Necromancer class. After a long moment of contemplation, the principal finally backs down. He decides not to cut the boy yet, wanting to see his actual results in the upcoming simulated battlefield before making a final call. Holding the folder tight, a glimmer of genuine interest shines in the old man's eyes. He wants to witness what kind of miracle this newly awakened kid can pull off. Meanwhile, out on the campus, Bai Xiaochan keeps tagging along behind Fang Zhou, desperately begging him to share his secret. She simply cannot comprehend how he managed to summon a whole army of skeletons on his very first attempt at practical combat. Fang Zhou shrugs and acts casual. He says he only summoned slightly more than an ordinary person, and there is absolutely nothing to freak out about. Hearing that fake nonchalance, Bai Xiaochan points right at his face, yelling that being this humble is basically the ultimate form of bragging. Chuckling, he claims it was no big deal. But on the inside, the young man is laughing with absolute roaring confidence. Of course, he cannot tell her that the bone squad she saw was not even close to his full power. Compared to what his system can actually do, that little showcase was just a tiny drop in a massive ocean. As he celebrates in secret, a loud, incredibly arrogant voice suddenly yells out behind him to freeze. Turning around, he spots Ye Fan posing dramatically in the wind with one hand on his chest. The guy looks exactly like a cringe anime main character trying way too hard. He proudly claims he has never feared a single soul, but looking across the entire class, only Fang Zhou is worthy of becoming his destined rival. Staring at this total delusion, Fang Zhou and Bai Xiaochan exchange completely blank looks, mentally facepalming at the sheer cringe. Refusing to entertain a severe case of middle school syndrome, Fang Zhou waves him off and turns to leave. He mutters that he does not have time to chat with people living inside fantasy worlds. Panicking, Yi Fan runs ahead to block his path, quickly explaining he is not here for a pointless fight, but to invite him as a training partner. Those words catch him slightly off guard, but Ye Fan quickly explains that after awakening the rare Demon Hunter class, the Academy placed him in a special research squad. To collect raw data and unlock the full potential of this rare class, the research team desperately needs a sparring partner with top-tier strength, making Fang Zhou their absolute best choice. Sure, that explanation sounds fair, but our pragmatic hero reaches out his hand, asking straight up why he should waste his precious time. Yi Fan clearly expected this. He raises a single finger and drops a deal that is honestly hard to refuse. 10 contribution points for just 2 weeks of sparring, plus all food and lodging covered. The moment cash is mentioned, Fang Zhou flips his attitude so fast Bai Xiaochan can barely process it before he steps up to shake hands, flashing a massive smile and happily declaring a successful partnership. Yi Fan lets out a proud laugh, thinking his chosen fated rival did not disappoint him at all. You have to see her reaction. Her jaw literally hits the floor. She never expected him to sell out his labor for just 10 points. Afraid his new partner might change his mind, Ye Fan immediately urges them to move out. Along the way, she still cannot help but whisper, asking if he really wants to blindly work for a completely delusional guy. But our main character is totally chill, walking hands in pockets. Contribution points are no small amount. He tells her turning this down is like throwing money right out of the window. Deep down, he knows his family desperately needs resources that can only be bought with these hard-earned contribution points. Curiously, he looks over and asks Ye Fan if he is from some super wealthy family to throw cash around so easily. She pouts instantly, muttering that he is not some rich second-generation kid. Those points are advanced by the research team, meaning Ye Fan has to break his back, paying them all back later. With the way he spends like water, she guesses he will be paying off this massive debt for 20 years after graduation. A cold sweat rolls down our hero's neck as he finally understands the guy's crazy generosity. Mid-chat, the group arrives right in front of a massive, modern facility. Yi Fan waves eagerly from the entrance, calling them inside, and as they step through the doors, he proudly announces that this is the main lab of the legendary Demon Hunter research team, confidently asking if they think this place matches his elite status. Looking around, even the calm Necromancer is seriously impressed. The entire room is packed with high-end, specialized machinery and high-tech research gear average academy students could never even dream of seeing. Truly, the budget for a rare class is on a whole different level. Suddenly, a middle-aged man with glasses steps out from the corner. One of his arms is fully robotic. He introduces himself to the duo as Chen Qingshan, lead of this research facility, and a formidable silver-rank Swift Ranger in his own right. The two polite students immediately greet him, but the professor only responds with a very cold nod. Even though the man now focuses purely on research, our main character still detects a faint, chilling bloodlust radiating from his body. There is no doubt about it, this researcher has killed on the front lines of actual war. Showing them around, the veteran details the latest and greatest legendary breakthrough achieved by their elite department. Just recently in the Dangerous Abyss Zone, a veteran hunter broke through to legendary crown-tier powerhouse status and completely vaporized an abyssal lord, showing off terrifying combat capability. Due to that insane feat, the moment Ye Fan awakened as a demon hunter, Haicheng Military Academy decided to groom him instantly, going so far as creating a private research team to push his potential to the absolute limit. Saying this, he pats the boy's shoulder warmly before shifting his intense gaze toward our hero. He mentions he read his academy file and thinks his necromancer potential is also incredibly high. If he is willing, the academy can make a special exception and fund a dedicated team just for him. But without missing a beat, our boy frantically waves his hands in refusal. He throws a pitiful side-eye at his rival, thinking there is no way he is signing up to graduate with 20 years of heavy debt on his shoulders. The professor does not force it, merely nodding before clapping his hands to bring them back to business. To start things off, he schedules a mock battle between the two students, heading straight down to the arena floor. The veteran calmly reassures them that the entire battlefield has a top-tier protective barrier fully activated, so they can throw down with everything they have without any fear of actual death. He points to a nearby weapon rack, allowing them to pick 3 pieces of gear to maximize their skills. Watching Ye Fan grip a glowing bow blade with overwhelming confidence, he looks completely ready to claim an easy victory. And trust me, looking at him now, this guy is no joke. A demon hunter's speed, closing distance, and massive burst damage are the ultimate counter to his standard skeleton summon combat strategy. If he only relies on his current moves, this match is going to be incredibly tough. With that in mind, Fang Zhou immediately opens his system, deciding to use the deduction feature to boost his combat power before the fight starts. The upgrade screen pops up instantly with 3 options: Summon Skeleton, Level 2 Bone Spear, and Level 1 Bone Shield. Across from him, Yi Fan tosses his jacket onto a rack, stepping out with his custom weapon and a smug look. He even brags about completely mastering his specialized bow glaive fighting style, boasting that even if Fang Zhou summons 20 skeletons, they wouldn't stand a chance against him. Check out this smugness. Fang Zhou just throws on his cloak, smirk on his face, and casually asks, "Is that so?" Inside, he is incredibly confident, because now that his skills are fully upgraded, the final outcome of this fight is anyone's guess. Snapping his fingers, Fang Zhou flashes a mysterious smile and warns his opponent not to disappoint him. His gear setup is finally locked in, featuring an apprentice staff and a gray-grade apprentice magic treasure. Though they're just basic, mass-produced items, they're still quite enough to slightly boost his spell power and cut down incoming damage. Yi Fan twirls his glowing bow glaive, dropping into a battle stance with pure excitement. He admits that Fang Zhou's confidence makes him worthy of being his chosen rival, but a split second later, his eyes turn icy cold. Launching himself off the ground, Ye Fan leaps high into the air, unleashing a devastating downward strike onto the arena, shouting that the backing he gets from the research team is far beyond anything Fang Zhou could ever imagine. Up in the observation room, 2 research assistants are already debating who will win this clash. One of them instantly bets on Ye Fan, calling his raw combat instinct the absolute scariest thing he has ever seen in a newly awakened student. But just as they're about to call it, a deep voice cuts in from behind them, asking if jumping to conclusions like that is a bit too hasty for scientists. Chen Qingshan turns around to see Lu Hu standing there with his arms crossed, asking in surprise why the combat instructor would suddenly show up in the research lab. Lu Hu simply shrugs, saying that since his 2 absolute best students are battling, a teacher like him has to be here to witness it. When Chen Qingshan asks if he honestly believes Fang Zhou can take down Ye Fan, Lu Hu nods without a single shred of doubt. Chen Qingshan flips through his files and slowly shakes his head. He admits Fang Zhou can summon tons of skeletons, but at his core, he is still a squishy mage who won't survive if Ye Fan gets close. On top of that, he reveals Yi Fan just unlocked a crazy powerful teleportation skill yesterday, which is bound to catch Lu Hu off guard. Hearing this, the combat instructor merely raises an eyebrow, intrigued. Back on stage, Ye Fan turns into a dark blur, charging straight ahead. His glowing blade flashes, slicing just inches away from Fang Zhou. Thanks to his quick reflexes, he slips away, but he instantly realizes his opponent's close combat skills are way stronger than expected. To take back control, he needs to put some distance between them. Seeing Fang Zhou desperately backing up, Ye Fan lets out a mocking laugh. And honestly, he is right. Running won't save you here. He draws his bow glaive, channeling dozens of blue energy arrows, and rains them down to blanket the entire stage. Facing this dense barrage, Fang Zhou's eyes flash with a cold, pale light. Chanting a spell at lightning speed, he conjures a massive skull-shaped barrier around his body, completely blocking the oncoming storm of arrows. Immediately, Fang Zhou raises his staff high. A glowing magic circle erupts under his feet, summoning his very first batch of skeletal warriors into the fight. The moment the skeletons emerge, they clasp their hands together, firing sharp waves of green energy at Ye Fan and forcing him to dodge the onslaught, while quickly realizing he has to disrupt Fang Zhou's summoning rhythm immediately before this growing undead army gets too massive to handle. Just then, a lightning arrow from the bow glaive slams directly into the magic circle under his rival's feet. The array shatters violently, forcing a gasp of shock from Fang Zhou. Without giving him a break, another barrage of energy arrows rains down right onto his head, forcing him to duck down just in time. The instant he clears the danger, he slams his palm onto the ground, activating an hidden array. Rows of skeletons with burning green eyes begin clawing their way out of the dirt, quickly forming a massive wall to protect their master and block the incoming attack. Watching this fierce clash, even Chen Qingshan nods in pure admiration. He admits that this new generation of students is genuinely terrifying, declaring that this performance alone is more than enough to put Fang Zhou on the elite seed list, even if he ends up losing to Ye Fan. But Lu Hu just chuckles, telling his old friend not to jump to conclusions yet. From what he knows, Fang Zhou is an incredibly calm and calculating kid who would never reveal his true power right at the start. Down on the stage, Ye Fan is smashing through his skeletons, but the kid doesn't panic. After watching long enough, Fang Zhou narrows his eyes. He knows that if he keeps overextending like this, his summoned army will be completely wiped out before they can even unleash their true strength. With that in mind, he raises his skull staff high, its green flames burning bright. Letting dark energy surge wildly around his body, he coldly orders his entire army to unleash their maximum power. Right then, the monitor screen displays a count of 30 skeletons. The female assistant's jaw drops in pure shock, while her colleague next to her completely freezes up for a few solid seconds. Fang Zhou only awakened a short while ago, yet he already raised his summoning skill to this absolutely terrifying level. That growth rate completely defies common sense. Yet, even when surrounded tightly by the Whitebone army, Ye Fan feels no fear at all instead. He gets so excited he laughs out loud. To him, only an opponent this powerful is truly worthy of becoming his ultimate rival. Slowly pulling his hood low, he hides half of his face. He quietly watches his opponent's reactions. Staying this calm while completely surrounded means Ye Fan is definitely hiding a trump card up his sleeve. Sure enough, he suddenly turns into a raging green whirlwind, sweeping his blades in massive arcs to shatter every single skeleton charging forward. Even the sturdiest summoned warriors crumble into fine dust under his absolute onslaught of violent strikes. Ye Fan's eyes burn with an intense, raw battle hunger. He is finally close enough to end this entire match once and for all. In a flash, he blurs into a dark shadow, trailing a long streak of green light. He unleashes his shadow chase skill, charging straight at Fang Zhou with a speed that is almost impossible to track. The massive pressure makes the entire arena shake violently. Watching this, Chen Qingshan sighs, fully believing that the match is already over. Once an assassin closes the distance on a mage, the fight is usually done, especially when that assassin is Ye Fan. Yet Lu Hu remains completely silent, simply watching without jumping to conclusions. On the stage, Ye Fan spins to unleash a revenge strike, aiming his glowing blade straight at his opponent's vitals. But right then, a devious smirk plays on the kid's lips. See, the kid was just baiting his opponent into a trap this entire time. A massive shield of bone suddenly rises in front of him, completely blocking the devastating strike. The deafening clash echoes as the sheer shockwave blasts Ye Fan backward. His eyes widen in utter disbelief, completely clueless about what kind of skill his opponent just pulled off. Up in the observation room, Chen Qingshan is shocked to recognize this completely new defensive skill. His assistant finds it even harder to believe, realizing this means the kid might have actually unlocked a completely unrecorded skill all on his own. Stepping back slowly, Fang Zhou chuckles and admits that Ye Fan is actually a bit stronger than he originally anticipated. Because of that, he has to switch up his tactics. Suddenly, he drops his staff straight onto the floor, leaving everyone completely baffled by what he is trying to do. Lu Hu clicks his tongue as he watches the scene unfold. He cannot help but admire how clever, yet incredibly dirty, this kid's playstyle actually is. Chen Qingshan quickly catches on to the truth. The kid used an optical camouflage cloak to blend himself right into the skeleton army. Surrounded by dozens of identical figures, Ye Fan has no way to tell which is the real body. Trapped in the middle, Ye Fan swings his blades wildly to smash the summons, screaming out for his opponent to stop hiding and face him. But the longer the fight drags on, the more his stamina drains. If this continues, he is going to get slowly chipped to death by these mindless skeletons. And now, watch closely as Ye Fan prepares to unleash his final trump card. A massive wave of dark energy explodes around his body, launching him skyward while blowing away every single skeleton surrounding him. Chen Qingshan's face completely changes. He never expected Ye Fan to possess such a devastating skill at this level. The assistant notes that even though this move has an incredibly long cooldown, its explosive power is insane, allowing the user to instantly break free from any encirclement. Hovering high up in the air, Ye Fan rapidly scans the battlefield below him. Within seconds, he locks onto a single skeleton, wearing the camouflage cloak, shouting that he has finally found the real body. Both blades in his hands burst into brilliant green flames as Ye Fan gathers his remaining strength, preparing to unleash his ultimate finishing blow, the world-shattering strike. Pure destructive energy quickly condenses into a massive sphere of light, diving straight down toward his target. Down below, the cloaked skeleton seems to realize it is completely locked on. Left with absolutely no room to escape, the devastating slash slams down, triggering a massive green explosion with the roaring echo of his legendary sky slash technique. As the thick smoke slowly clears, Ye Fan stands leaning on his weapon over his motionless target, gasping for breath. He claims that while Fang Zhou was incredibly strong, his own pride simply would not let him accept defeat. Confident in his victory, Ye Fan even tells the staff to get a medical team over, wanting to make sure nobody actually dies here. But behind the observation room, Chen Qingshan and all of his assistants stand frozen in sheer disbelief, their faces showing anything but victory. Feeling this weird vibe, Ye Fan starts breaking into a cold sweat. He slowly turns his head to look down at his target, only to freeze instantly as he realizes the thing he just smashed is not Fang Zhou at all. Beneath the cloak, Fang Zhou's figure suddenly dissolves into thin smoke, leaving Ye Fan completely speechless. The target he just hit with everything was only a decoy. It takes him a few seconds to piece the puzzle together, realizing he fell for a double disguise trick. Fang Zhou never wore a disguise, he just made a skeleton look like him, then threw a cloak over it to trick Ye Fan into thinking he was hiding in the ranks. This crazy trap is so deep that before he can even recover his senses, those skeletons seize both of his legs. Right at that moment, the real Fang Zhou casually strolls out with an extremely friendly smile, thanking his opponent for letting him win. Realizing his energy is completely gone and he is totally trapped, Ye Fan can only grit his teeth and admit defeat. The system instantly declares Fang Zhou the winner. Having poured all his energy into that final ultimate skill, Ye Fan is totally drained, his body slumping forward. Luckily, a nearby skeleton catches him just in time. Despite the bitter defeat, he still tries to keep some pride, weakly thanking Fang Zhou. He gives a quick thumbs up in response, but his comforting words sound like pure mockery. Let us just count it as pity for the loser. Carried off on a stretcher, Ye Fan turns red with rage, shouting back that this loss will only make him stronger. Sooner or later, the underdog is definitely going to rise up, but for now, Fang Zhou can only chuckle awkwardly, quickly explaining he was just joking around. After the battle, Chen Qingshan walks over, reluctantly admitting that Fang Zhou's combat skills far exceeded all expectations. Get a load of this next compliment, it leaves him totally speechless because the professor praises his sly, dirty fighting style. He claims that with such dirty tricks, Fang Zhou will definitely become a tactical mastermind. Hearing that, our guy can only wonder if it is a compliment or a roast. Lu Hu now seriously asks about the bone shield that just appeared, wondering if it's a brand new skill Fang Zhou figured out himself. Not hiding anything, he instantly confirms it and summons both the bone shield and bone spear right in front of them. Fang Zhou explains that during his regular practice with summoning skills, he suddenly gained some deep insights and created these two moves himself. Seeing these fully formed skills right before their eyes, Chen Qingshan and Lu Hu can only stare at each other in total shock. A student who just awakened can already create brand new skills on his own. This completely defies all common sense. An excited Lu Hu slaps Fang Zhou on the back, praising him for always knowing how to bring the surprises. The slap is so hard that Fang Zhou stumbles, quickly wincing and asking his teacher to go a bit easy. Seeing the specialized equipment ready in the lab, Lu Hu immediately suggests testing the actual power of these two new skills. Chen Qingshan happily agrees and quickly has his assistants set up the testing area. Hearing this, Fang Zhou immediately complains that his mental energy is completely depleted from the fight, making testing impossible right now. Lu Hu throws an arm around him, laughing it off as a minor issue. Right after, a whole crate of mental recovery potions is brought in, making Fang Zhou widen his eyes, thinking they just hauled in a case of beer. The teacher casually tells him to just pop a bottle and start chugging. Honestly, I bet you have never seen anyone recover their mana in bulk like this. Looking at the packed bottles, Fang Zhou is completely speechless at this industrial level of recovery. Even so, he still picks up a bottle and chugs it all in one go. Green energy immediately surges through his body, quickly restoring his mental force and making him let out a deep, refreshing sigh. Once his condition stabilizes, Fang Zhou is escorted straight to the testing grounds. Chen Qingshan points at the mechanical dummy in front of them and announces the test starts right now. The robot immediately raises its fists, getting into a stance as a voice tells Fang Zhou to attack just like in a real combat situation. He nods, raising his hand to summon a sharp bone spear and launching it instantly. The spear rips through the air, hitting the dummy dead center and triggering a dazzling explosion. Immediately after, the electronic screen displays his attack power reaching 85 points. Chen Qingshan grins with satisfaction, taking notes while showering him with praise. For a newly awakened student, this power is outstanding, especially since Fang Zhou invented the move himself. Once the offensive test is completely over, Lu Hu strokes his beard and signals the next phase to test the defense of the bone shield. Hearing the start command, Fang Zhou simply nods in a calm manner. Instantly, the puppet rushes forward at lightning speed, launching a heavy fist like a sledgehammer aimed directly at him. But right at the moment of impact, Fang Zhou quickly raises his bone shield to block. A heavy boom echoes as all the force is completely blocked, and the screen instantly reveals a defensive rating of 80 points. Staring at the double results, 85 for attack and 80 for defense, Lu Hu cannot stop grinning from ear to ear. In his eyes, Fang Zhou is basically nothing short of a literal monster right now. His attack matches Storm Mages, while his defense easily rivals Earth Knights. Getting way too excited, Lu Hu slaps his student on the back so hard that Fang Zhou almost stops breathing right then and there. Lu Hu keeps insisting that he was born to become a legendary necromancer, while Fang Zhou can only wince and beg his master to please stop slapping his back before he ends up looking like a punching bag to outsiders. Seeing the poor kid about to break, Chen Qingshan chuckles and steps in to save him. He seriously notes that both of Fang Zhou's new skills are pretty valuable, advising him to register them with the Federation Skill Library. Hearing that huge name, Fang Zhou freezes for a second before remembering it as the ultimate vault holding countless skills built by the Federation, a place where anyone can trade contribution points to get the exact cultivation techniques and skills they need. Chen Qingshan smiles, explaining that the Research Institute actually hosts a local library branch that Fang Zhou is free to use anytime. Hearing this, the young man happily thanks him and follows Lu Hu straight to the vault. Standing before a massive, ancient wooden door, Lu Hu reminds him that once those two new skills are successfully registered, Fang Zhou will receive a heap of contribution points and can use them to trade for even more epic skills. He nods and confidently pushes the heavy door open. It is pitch black inside at first, making him think he took a wrong turn. But a split second later, the lights flash on all at once, revealing a massive hall filled with endless towering bookshelves bathed in a warm golden glow. This massive, breathtaking display leaves even the unflappable Fang Zhou completely speechless. Talk about an elite Federation archive. He slowly strolls through the towering aisles, scanning the magical grimoires while realizing that pretty much every legendary skill in existence is stored right here. Next, he approaches the central stone altar, placing his hand on a glowing purple orb to register his skills. Within seconds, the system registers his bone spear and bone shield, instantly rewarding him with 200 contribution points. And since he is the proud creator of these skills, from now on, every time someone spends points to learn them, 50% of that fee goes directly to his account. Talk about passive income. He stands there completely frozen, realizing he just unlocked lifetime royalties for his own creations. Just thinking about the profit gets him hyped. With a massive stack of points in hand, his greedy side kicks in since a chance like this does not happen every day. He is determined to squeeze out every single benefit he can. Wandering around for a bit, his eyes suddenly lock onto a mysterious book emitting a faint green glow. It is the Skeleton Meditation Manual. The very moment he picks it up, a wild idea flashes through his mind. He will use this base technique as a foundation to derive a much stronger ability. Just then, the system pops up, confirming his soul power is high enough to upgrade the manual. Without hesitating, Fang Zhou hits accept. A massive wave of death energy wraps around him, turning the air freezing cold as his inner consciousness starts to shift. A giant skeleton slowly opens its glowing red eyes, revealing a majestic skeleton king sitting on a throne of bone, gently handing over an ancient magical tome. Before he can even process this, the book flies open, letting loose countless glowing runes that merge directly into his body. Once the knowledge settles, the towering specter of the Skeleton King manifests right behind him. Boom. Done. The system confirms the upgrade is officially complete. His basic skeleton meditation has evolved into the Skeleton King meditation, and honestly, just reading the description makes him grin from ear to ear. This new version not only doubles his meditation speed, but also significantly boosts all his Necromancer spells. That means both his cultivation speed and raw combat power are getting a massive upgrade. That soul power spent? Absolutely worth every single drop. But once the hype settles, he quickly cools down. He realizes that no matter how broken a skill is, he still needs massive mental energy to actually cast it. His previous fight with Ye Fan proved that, nearly draining his mana bar after only a few moves. If he cannot fix this fatal flaw, his peak power is going to remain locked away. This brings us to his next move, spending those remaining points to snag a skill that boosts his mental energy. Only with a massive energy pool can he truly unlock the full potential of his system and dominate as a necromancer. Stopping in front of a nearby shelf, he immediately locks onto his target, spending 20 contribution points to buy the Calm Mind technique. Snatching the manual, he quickly checks out its stats. It passively boosts his mental recovery speed. Active use instantly restores energy. The only catch is its extreme mastery difficulty. But for our guy, that barrier practically does not exist. The system immediately detects learnable material, requiring only 10 soul power points to speed up his comprehension process. Without a single doubt, he hits confirm. Runes of raw magic swirl around him and flood his mind, immediately unlocking the Calm Mind skill at novice level. He feels it. His mental energy is recovering pretty fast. Fang Zhou clenches his fist in pure satisfaction. With this skill, if he fights Ye Fan right now, he is confident his skeleton army can easily exhaust the guy. But since he has entered the Federation skill library, Fang Zhou does not plan to leave with just one spell. He buys Entangling Vines, Swamp, Mudwall, Cobweb, and Weakening Ray, costing him 60 contribution points in total. He might not use these skills right away, but they serve as raw material for the system to synthesize stronger spells later. Once done, he realizes that magic alone is not going to cut it. He also needs some solid gear to boost his stats. At his current apprentice rank, he is restricted to gray or white tier equipment, so he drops 40 contribution points to buy a novice mage set consisting of a hat, a necklace, and 2 rings. Each item is mass-produced, but the stats they offer are actually pretty useful. The hat slightly boosts his mental limit, the necklace speeds up energy recovery, and both rings cut down his cooldown times. Wearing all 4 items triggers a set bonus, boosting his cultivation, speed, and skill mastery growth by 10%. Seeing the soft magical glow around his body, Fang Zhou nods happily. The gear looks incredibly plain, but the actual benefits are exactly what he needs to level up. And now, let's take a look at his brand new stats because this upgrade is wild. He is still a low-rank apprentice Necromancer, but his strength is now 1.5, with agility and constitution hitting 1.3. His mental stat rises to 2.5, alongside that full 4-piece apprentice mage set. Skeleton meditation and skeleton summoning are now highly proficient. Bone Spear and Bone Shield have reached expert level, and his Calm Mind is at novice. Staring at his massive progress, the boy smiles. This library trip has turned out to be an absolute jackpot. But right then, his skeleton clone makes a sudden move, reminding him that he almost forgot his most valuable partner. Since the main body just got a massive upgrade, his clone definitely deserves some serious investment as well. He immediately spends 30 contribution points on 3 skills for his clone: Weapon, Mastery, Block, and Taunting Roar. These basic but highly essential skills will surely help his skeleton clone boost its overall damage, guard defenses, and suppress enemies on the field. But after this massive shopping spree, his contribution wallet is completely bone dry. Looking at his tiny remaining balance hurts. The skill library is definitely a golden heaven of knowledge, but it is also a bottomless money pit. To keep growing this fast, he needs to find more lucrative gigs, just like sparring with Ye Fan. Walking out of the Demon Hunter Research Group office, he runs straight into Chen Qingshan. The professor curiously asks if he found any good spells inside. Fang Zhou proudly smirks, bragging that his haul this time is actually pretty massive. But before he can even brag, an angry voice cuts him off, and you already know who it is. Ye Fan stands tall on the training stage, furiously refusing to accept his loss. He throws a health potion directly at his rival, claiming he only lost because he was caught off guard by cheap tricks. This time, he is going to use his maximum speed and full power for a real, fair rematch. Easily catching the bottle, our main character flashes a pretty mysterious, knowing smile. He asks his rival if he is absolutely sure about doing this right now, especially since he just upgraded his powers. But the red-haired hothead refuses to back down. His eyes burn with pure rage as he grits his teeth, declaring that he will never lose to anyone. This rematch is going to be all out to crush him. Hearing that another sweet chance to harvest points has just walked right in, Lu Hu raises his finger to remind that this rematch is technically an extra training session, meaning there is going to be an additional fee. Chen Qingshan just nods casually, adding some pretty hilarious commentary. As long as the kid agrees, he has to pay back those advance points himself anyway. Meanwhile, our hero does not even bother drinking the potion. He casually tosses it back to his opponent with a cocky grin, telling the guy to keep it, because in a few minutes, he may not be the one who actually needs any healing. That single line completely triggers the red-haired hothead, sending him charging forward like a rocket wrapped in green flames. No holding back. He opens the fight by leaping into the air, unleashing his ultimate strike with absolutely terrifying force. Watching from the sidelines, Both instructors lock their eyes on the stage, completely focused. Yi Fan is clearly going for a swift, decisive strike. It is his only real chance to crush his opponent before that terrifying skeleton army can rise. Yet, while everyone else is sweating bullets, our main character casually raises a single finger. Instantly, a massive green magic circle glows beneath his feet, with countless necromantic runes spinning rapidly in a blur. The assistant expects a simple, regular skeleton summon, but Lu Hu looks closer and his face instantly pales. Instead of a few familiar bones, dozens of skeleton warriors burst from the ground at once, stacking together to form a massive bone wall right in front of Fang Zhou. Now look at this. The sheer scale leaves everyone completely speechless. This goes way beyond what a newly awakened necromancer should ever be capable of. Yi Fan's ultimate strike slams hard against the bone wall, triggering a violent green explosion that sends debris and bone shards flying everywhere. Seeing the raw power, Chen Qingshan is shocked, since this is clearly way stronger than their last fight. Yi Fan actually learned from his previous loss and upgraded his skill on the fly. As the dust clears, Fang Zhou casually walks out with his hands in his pockets, calmly praising his rival's progress. But then, he gives a knowing smirk, mentioning his own skill got a little stronger too. Before Yi Fan can even react, 7 surrounding skeletons suddenly point their sharp spears straight at his throat. In a split second, here's the funny part. That hyped-up rematch instantly turns into a brutal, one-sided gang beatdown. The skeletons swarm him, forcing Yi Fan to cover his head and beg them not to hit his face. Soon, he is knocked flat out. Chen Qingshan facepalms. Today's training session is officially over. Lu Hu just sighs, guessing that with injuries this bad, Yi Fan won't be returning to training for at least a week. Once the victim is carried off, Chen Qingshan asks if he really does not want a dedicated necromancer research team. He instantly rejects it flat. Fang Zhou knows he is hiding way too many secrets, especially his system. Having researchers track his every stat will only lead to major trouble down the road. Meanwhile, over in another section of the massive skill library, a beautiful girl touches the magic orb and notices 2 completely new necromancer skills added to the database. Without hesitation, she spends 20 contribution points to unlock them. Reading through Bone Spear and Bone Shield, Su Xinyan is absolutely blown away. She never imagined bone magic could be used in such a flexible and insanely efficient way. To her, the person who created these skills must be an absolute, top-tier genius. Super excited, Su Xinyan grabs the manual and runs off to find her father to show him. Meanwhile, over in the principal's office, Chen Qingshan slams a folder down, seriously recommending they put Fang Zhou straight onto the priority seed list. Lu Hu instantly backs him up, even swearing on his personal honor to guarantee the kid's potential. Yet the white-haired principal calmly sips his tea and shakes his head. He admits the kid is performing well, but necromancers suffer from a severe lack of skills. No matter how fast his start is, he will struggle to keep up in the long run. Chen Qingshan argues back that the kid already created 2 brand new skills. That news almost makes the principal spit his tea, but he quickly regains his composure, arguing that creating skills means nothing without real combat testing. Just as Lu Hu is about to explain their power, the door bursts wide open and an excited Su Xinyan rushes inside. She loudly announces that 2 incredible new necromancer skills have suddenly appeared in the public library. Her father is totally shocked, but instead of explaining, she directly summons Bone Spear and Bone Shield right in the office. Admitting she only just got them, she hasn't fully mastered the casting yet, but even their basic power is already absolutely insane. Staring at these fresh necromancer spells, the principal realizes he can no longer look down on the kid's raw talent. Seeing the magic in action, his jaw completely drops as cold sweat starts to bead on his forehead. Standing right beside him, an incredibly curious Su Xinyan asks if he knows the creator's identity. Even before her father can reply, her eyes sparkle with pure excitement as she declares she wants to become his direct disciple. Hearing this, the principal helplessly stares at the ceiling, instantly crushing his daughter's bright hopes. He warns her that she can never study under him, making her instantly pout in confusion. The reason is actually very simple, that legendary creator is currently just a newly awakened high school student. Meanwhile, back in class, the genius master she is dreaming of is slumped over his desk, fast asleep. But his peaceful nap is cut short by a very familiar, arrogant voice. Yi Fan is back, loudly demanding a rematch with his rival. Fang Zhou lifts his sleepy head, looking completely exhausted and clearly used to this exact daily drama. Resting his chin, he asks Yi Fan, just how many times have they fought? Doesn't he have better things to do, like training to get stronger? But Ye Fan just shoves his hands into his pockets with a smug smirk, boldly declaring that this time is going to be completely different. He even throws his arm around Bai Xiaochan standing nearby, boasting that her help over the last few days made his power skyrocket. He is absolutely sure he will beat Fang Zhou this time. Her face turns bright red as Bai Xiaochan immediately flings his hand off and screams out her defense. Apparently, Yifan literally dropped to his knees begging her in public, so she only helped him to avoid some massive misunderstanding. Ignoring their little comedy act, Fang Zhou curiously asks Bai Xiaochan how she actually managed to buff Ye Fan's power. Hearing her power mentioned, she proudly crosses her arms, puffs out her chest, and introduces her new lullaby skill, which she unlocked during a nap. It is a pretty useful support skill that boosts mental energy recovery while temporarily upgrading the effects of meditation and training. Furious that she is stealing his spotlight, Yifan slams the table and cuts her off. He points out this skill can only be used 3 times a day, and he had to pay 2 contribution points a week just to use it. Fang Zhou just sighs. At this crazy rate of spending, Ye Fan is pretty much going to spend his entire youth working off massive debts. While the hot-headed red-haired guy keeps yelling for a fight, watch this, Fang Zhou's focus is already completely locked onto that lullaby skill. If this skill boosts meditation and training, could it actually work on his skeleton clone in the undead world? With that thought, he immediately leans forward. Grabbing Bai Xiaochan's shoulders, he seriously asks if she can sell him her very last charge of the day. Staring into his eyes at such close range, her face flushes red as she awkwardly nods in agreement. Right next to them, Ye Fan is absolutely losing his mind, screaming at them to stop ignoring him. Without even turning his head, Fang Zhou just waves his hand. A squad of skeleton warriors surrounds Ye Fan. He casually tells him to play with the summons first, and to transfer those contribution points once he is done. Getting treated like a toddler with cheap toys drives Ye Fan insane, making him grit his teeth and curse Fang Zhou's arrogance. With the annoyance out of the way, Fang Zhou turns to Bai Xiaochan with eyes full of anticipation, asking her to cast the lullaby. She nods, closes her eyes to chant, and in a flash, glowing bands of pure sound begin to materialize. They turn into shimmering musical notes, wrapping around Fang Zhou's body. At that exact moment, over in the desolate undead wasteland, his meditating skeleton clone is suddenly enveloped by sound waves traveling across the 2 worlds. Now that is a win. A satisfied smile instantly spreads across his face. The lullaby actually works directly on his clone, and that means the skeleton gets the exact same meditation, recovery, and training buffs as his original main body. Our skeleton clone slowly stands up, the soul fire in its eye sockets burning wildly as it stares at a pack of monsters wandering nearby. Fang Zhou decides to use those very undead creatures to test the real-world effects of this powerful new buff. His clone's stat sheet instantly pops up with clear details. Currently, it has officially reached high apprentice level, possessing 8 strength, 7 constitution, 7 agility, and 6 spirit points, while wielding a low gray-grade bone spear. Its skill set is fully complete, featuring the instinct-type skeletal armor. This includes brutal strike mastery, charge proficiency, weapon mastery proficiency, shield block, and the intimidating roar. Best of all, Fang Zhou has racked up 50 soul power points, which is plenty to keep upgrading and evolving even stronger skills. Roaring like starved beasts, the undead swarm rushes forward, swinging their rusted weapons straight at the Skeleton King. But Fang Zhou's clone reacts with lightning speed, leaving a mere afterimage as its bone spear spins to easily parry the incoming strikes. Right then, his blocking skill activates, completely useless. The block completely neutralizes the enemy assault to prevent any real loss, and our Skeleton King immediately launches his counterattack. Enhanced by weapon mastery, the spear in his hands explodes with terrifying force, with a single sweep sending a massive monster crashing onto the glowing red earth. Before the beast can recover, the clone spins to lock onto its next target. As a giant axe-wielding monster swings down, the skeleton easily tilts its body to dodge, thrusting its sharp spearhead straight through the enemy's skull for an instant kill. Standing amid a battlefield of slain foes, the Skeleton King watches the reward notifications flood his screen with pure satisfaction. Plus, the lullaby's buff grants a neat 10% bonus to all rewards. Each kill brings him 0.11 strength and 0.55 soul power. In an instant, those 2 bloated, chubby butchers roar and charge right back into the fight. But before they can even get close, the Skeleton King's spear rips clean through their defense. Every single precise strike instantly puts them down, triggering a massive flood of notifications for extra strength and soul power. Right at that moment, the clone looks up toward the distant mountains and spots countless dark shadows swarming down. An entire army of the undead is waiting for them. Refusing to back down, the Skeleton King unleashes all the deadly energy surging inside his body. He spreads his arms and lets out a dominant roar, daring every single monster to attack at once. His roar skill triggers immediately, unleashing a terrifying wave of pressure that blasts the surrounding undead away in every single direction. At the same time, the clone gets a massive boost to strength, constitution, and speed. Turning into a literal killing machine with overwhelming aura, the Skeleton King charges completely alone straight into the sea of monsters. His spear swings wildly, cutting down one enemy after another. Every single life he takes brings in more raw power and soul energy, making the blue flames in his eyes burn fiercer than ever before. Riding the high of the slaughter, the Skeleton King roars toward the sky, proving he can grow even stronger. Constant reward notifications flood his entire vision at this point. The battlefield is literally raining bonus points. But right when things are getting hyped, Hold on the Clone suddenly freezes. It slowly looks up at the blood-red sky cracking open into a giant rift. From deep inside that spatial tear, a massive bone greatsword glowing with blinding green light slams straight into the earth, revealing a towering, gigantic figure. High above, a bone angel with wicked wings slowly descends, spreading a terrifying pressure over the entire dead zone. Even our Skeleton King freezes in sheer shock at the sight. Why on earth would a high-tier boss like this bone angel spawn directly inside a beginner zone? Blinding light erupts all around the skeleton boss before it swings down a massive, devastating sword strike. Fang Zhou knows that getting hit by this means instant death. If defense is useless, he is just going to have to go on the offensive. He charges forward with a powerful Crimson Battle skill, combining it perfectly with his heavy bone spear. With sheer determination on his face, he unleashes Shield Breaker, linking his moves into one brutal assault. Intense points of light flare up from the arm-shedding skill. Fang Zhou stands there in total confusion. What is this guy planning? Seeing how easily the skeleton blocks him is shocking. That was incredibly decisive. Now it is swinging its sword right at Fang Zhou. He uses his weapon to block the hit, but the sharp blade unleashes a burning light so powerful it tears right through a nearby stone wall. The massive dust cloud leaves Fang Zhou coughing violently. He hides to the side, watching the giant skeleton slowly walk closer. Luckily, one of its arms was already broken before this. Otherwise, that strike would have absolutely shattered his skull into pieces. Fang Zhou's eyes widen as he realizes something critical. The monster has finally exposed its weakness. Seeing the skeleton raise its sword again, Fang Zhou gets confused. A massive cyclone forms around it. Wait, is this thing actually spinning? Realizing things are going south, Fang Zhou turns and runs, but the giant skeleton does not slow down, chasing him at high speed. Fang Zhou yells out in disbelief. The beast is actually using centrifugal force to make up for its broken arm, completely tearing down the mountain. Worse yet, while it is spinning like crazy, there is absolutely no way to target its weak spot. It is targeting him again seriously. Where does a pile of old bones get this much bloodlust? Seeing a solid wall ahead, he freezes a total dead end. You can feel the tension as Fang Zhou glances back at the skeleton. Gripping his weapon tight, he knows he has to risk it all. The wind pressure from that sword alone could tear him apart. He must focus. Staring straight through the spinning mass, he spots an opening and throws his weapon with everything he has. Charging forward, the skeleton stumbles back with a loud groan, making Fang Zhou scoff. Is this big guy suffering from osteoporosis? Go home and drink some calcium. Then he spots the flame. The monster's soul fire core is completely exposed. Seizing the opening, Fang Zhou hurls his weapon. Bone spear throw. This is the moment. The skeleton is caught off guard by the speed and quickly blocks using its massive wings, deflecting the blade right back at a shocked Fang Zhou. He realizes those wings are not just for show. But fortunately for him, his system is not just for show either. A screen pops up showing that his bone chain skill deduction succeeded, bringing a very satisfied smile to his face. Exactly as he predicted, the deduction skill confused different class traits together to create much more powerful undead abilities for him to use. Shooting a spark from his hand, he mocks the beast. A heavy bone chain appears, wrapping tightly around the skeleton's neck. He demands it to get down, slamming the beast hard onto the ground. He warns it that struggling is completely useless, because the more it struggles, the more excited he gets. With golden light flashing in his eyes, a massive, crushing blow descends, blacking out the screen. Looking down, Fang Zhou smiles. The Bone Angel's soul fire is mine. He locks his eyes onto it. I won't be polite anymore. With all this absorbed soul power, why isn't this skeleton body growing? Not a bit. Turns out he hit his racial limit. No wonder. Stat points simply won't go up anymore. What else is hiding in the sky? I want to see. The screen displays his current race as Apprentice Drybone. Intense beams of light fly toward him. He knows his real path of evolution is only just beginning right now. The path of bones is evolving. The way of death is slaughter, and slaughter is the only way to evolve. Fang Zhou's body tenses up as he groans. Finally, the system alerts him that the skeleton warrior evolved successfully. He gets a boost in jump, physical strength, agility, and spirit. He's shocked does his clone get a new talent after evolving too? Staring closely at his computer screen, Fang Zhou can't help but sigh. This specific upgrade is designed for skeletons. Looks like the system wants him to grind monsters faster in the undead realm. Suddenly, another skeleton tries to ambush him. It slams its weapon right onto his head, but he doesn't feel a thing. Literally nothing. Facing these weak, low-level skeletons now, he doesn't even need to defend anymore. Easy fight. Can even his bone weapons upgrade? Seeing his explosive power, that aggressive skeleton quickly sits down obediently on the ground. System says upgrade complete, unlocking the bone armor. Fang Zhou notes that this bone armor has fused seamlessly into his body, making him feel incredibly strong. Then he turns back to look at the monster behind him. He steps closer. It panics. Sorry, buddy, but I need some target practice. He unleashes a strike. Wait, does this punch have a cooldown too? The terrified skeleton holds its head and groans. Its entire frame seems to shake in fear. And then, boom, the monster shatters into tiny pieces. Fang Zhou sighs, sorry to disappoint you. My punch just had to travel a bit. Fused with the bone armor, his damage against skeletons rises sharply, but farming these weak mobs here isn't helping him grow anymore. Looks like he has to travel deeper into the dark undead realm. But wait, check out what just caught his attention ahead. Fang Zhou sits down, rubbing his temples. Crap, fighting that boss took way too much time. Bai Xiaochen helps him up, asking if he's okay since she thought he got hurt. Fang Zhou just blinks. Wait, what? To him, this minor scrape came from fighting that boss earlier. He tells himself he can't be this careless next time. Fang Zhou says he's fine. Explaining his meditation just ran into a small issue. She hesitates, but suddenly, a loud voice outside shouts for him. It's Yi Fan, yelling that those skeletons he summoned can't stop him anymore. His voice echoes out, "You can't hold me back anymore." Yi Fan charges forward, demanding a fair and honorable fight. In response, Fang Zhou calmly casts his bone chain spell. Instantly trapped, Yi Fan starts screaming. "This isn't fair," he yells. "You're using a weird skill I've never even seen before. Let's fight again." But Fang Zhou just tells him to go grind enough contribution points before challenging him. The crowd starts whispering. No one has ever seen this bone chain skill. Could it be a new spell he invented? Yi Fan snaps at the crowd to stop staring and get him down. She's stunned. Just how strong is our main character now? The scene shifts as he walks up the stairs alone, checking his phone. Wait, is it Friday already? Ever since Awakening, he's been focused solely on getting stronger. It's been a while since he visited home. Next, we see the Resource Exchange Department. The staff member asks if he needs any help. He replies, "Please help me trade 10 contribution points for 100,000 Longxia coins." The instructor advises him that points are hard to get. Trading them for cash is quite a waste. Fang Zhou shrugged. "It's fine. I really need the money right now." She nods. "All right, let me know if you need to trade anything else later." Thanking her, he takes the money. With this cash, his family should finally be able to live a bit more comfortably. Cut to the Yunduo Welfare Institute. Kids are playing outside, laughing and running around. "Be careful not to fall. Chase me if you can." Wenru stands with folded arms, smiling. These kids are so full of life, but who knows how many will actually manage to awaken. She turns around as a familiar voice calls her name. "Sister Wenru," she gasps. "Fang Zhou?" He smiles. "Yeah, I'm back." A little boy runs over, shouting happily. "Brother Xiao Zhou is back. Did you bring us treats?" Wenru jokingly scolds them. "You little gluttons, he just got back and you're already begging for food." Fang Zhou laughs. "Don't worry, everyone gets some." Wenru asks gently, "I heard your school had the awakening test recently. How did it go for you?" He says he successfully awakened as a necromancer. She beams with pride. "That's wonderful news. Just being able to awaken is a blessing." The kids whisper in awe. "A necromancer? That sounds so cool. I want to summon skeletons too." Hearing this, Fang Zhou summons a mini, weak skeleton. The kids cheer. Look at this tiny skeleton, let's fight it. It's so cute, hey, give me its head to play with. He hands over the items, yes, these are for the director. Wenru is about to ask what they are, when suddenly a loud voice cuts in, catching everyone's attention. Well now, isn't this a heartwarming scene? He says, walking closer. I wonder if my sudden appearance is interrupting you too. Right at the Yundua Welfare Institute, Fang Zhou looks at the crowding thugs and asks who on earth these people are. They clearly do not look friendly. Wenru quickly runs over to negotiate, demanding to know what they want and reminding them they promised 2 more days to pay. Hearing this, Lu Hu instantly loses his temper. 2 days? You dare delay the money owed to our Tiger Claw gang, damn it. Listen up, today is the absolute final deadline. If you do not pay, this mortgaged orphanage land officially belongs to our Tiger Claw gang. Faced with his arrogant smirk, little Wenxing sadly looks up at Wenru, crying out her name in fear. Then the brave little girl charges forward, headbutting Liu Hu straight in the stomach while yelling at the bad guy to stop bullying her big sister. Annoyed by the pain, Liu Hu raises his leg to kick her away, yelling at the brat to get lost. Wenru screams out helplessly, but look at this. In a split second, Fang Zhou intercepts the kick with a skeletal hand. Staring at that terrifying skeletal hand, Liu Hu recoils in absolute shock, demanding to know what kind of monster he is facing. Fang Zhou quickly shifts back to human form, gently pats Wenxing's head, and warns the thug to apologize before things get ugly. The little girl looks up, completely starstruck. That is when a henchman runs up to whisper that this kid is actually an undead necromancer. Liu Hu frowns deeply, repeating the class with disgust. Since Liu Hu himself is an elite ghost-face warrior, he easily blows the young mage away with one massive strike. Calling him a trash necromancer who thought he was hot stuff, he smirks. The sudden, overwhelming power actually takes Fang Zhou by surprise, so they are actual class holders. Sister Wenru, who on earth are these guys? Getting up, she sadly explains that these thugs belong to the Tiger Claw Training Equipment Company, and the orphanage kids are at the perfect age to start professional training. Not wanting to hold back the kids' future, she and the director borrowed money to buy the equipment ahead of time. On the surface, they sell elite training gear for class holders, but behind closed doors, they are actually running a highly illegal and ruthless loan sharking operation. With the compound interest stacking up so fast, the director simply could not keep up with the impossible debt. Fang Zhou is totally shocked. Why did you keep this from me? He demands. But Liu Hu just points a finger, warning him to back off since $100,000 is way out of his league. Instead of backing down, he casually hurls a heavy briefcase straight at the thug's face. There is $100,000 inside, now scram. Wenru is stunned, asking how on earth he got so much money. Opening the briefcase, the henchmen gasp in shock. Boss, it really is 100,000. But a frustrated Liu Hu snaps, telling them to shut their mouths. He grits his teeth in pure frustration. His boss demanded the orphanage land, and compared to that, a mere 100,000 is practically worthless. He raises his metal club, pointing it right at Fang Zhou. Did you really think we needed your pocket change, kid? He sneers. But the young mage remains totally calm, asking what else they want since the debt is fully paid. Holding up 5 fingers, Liu Hu declares that because they took so long, the interest has gone up. They now owe $500,000. Wenru is utterly outraged, repeating the astronomical number in disbelief. Fang Zhou just smiles. It is clear they only came here to pick a fight. The thug proudly boasts, asking what he is going to do about it. A bunch of worthless orphans do not deserve prime land like this. Boys, get them. Today, the Tiger Claw gang is taking this place by force. As the thugs charge, Fang Zhou summons his skeletal army. And guys, this is where it gets crazy. You really want to compare numbers with me? Seeing the undead rise, the thugs freeze dead in their tracks. Standing behind his glowing skeletons with massive killing intent, he commands them to kneel and apologize, or face the grim consequences. The skeletons step closer to a blonde thug, leaving him sweating bullets. But Liu Hu violently kicks him, barking at him to stop being a coward. Necromancy is literally the weakest class out there. Skeletons summoned by a rookie student like this can be crushed by any normal person. Throw all these dirty orphans out, get out of here. Unwanted trash like you actually dream of becoming elite class holders. In the terrifying chaos, poor little Wenxing bursts into tears, crying out for help. Seeing her tears, Fang Zhou completely snaps, telling them they are asking for death. But the thugs only smirk, losing all of their fear. Did you really think a few fragile bones could stop us? Get him and teach this kid a real lesson. But this skeleton is surprisingly sharp and deadly. With lightning speed, it instantly slices off the hands of the first thug trying to attack. Another skeleton gently covers a kid's eyes as agonizing screams fill the air, with thugs crying out in utter shock over their severed limbs. This is bad. Their power is completely off. Watching his men get dismantled, Liu Hu swallows hard, suddenly feeling a cold sweat. The kid looks like a regular student, so why are his summons so terrifyingly strong? Desperate, the boss charges forward with his ultimate bone crusher strike. No matter what, you are just a puny necromancer trying to challenge me. From behind, Wenru runs up in panic, screaming for Fang Zhou to get out of the way. He does not even dodge. Instead, the strike slams directly into his bone shield. Liu Hu is completely shocked when his attack does absolutely nothing. Seriously, how did he even block that? Bone chains from Fang Zhou wrap tightly around Liu Hu, slamming him onto the ground so hard he spits blood in agonizing pain. Bound to the floor, Liu Hu curses like a madman, yelling that he will destroy this brat. Before he can even finish, skeletons appear from behind, sharp blades pressed right against his neck. Fang Zhou walks over, looking down on him like an ant, and coldly orders him to kneel, apologize, or die.